Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to True Footy, live from the Palace Hotel in Camberwell. We are here tonight for the Carlton Draft. Jesse, I am super excited for this one.
I'm excited too, mate. This is such a cool initiative where you'll learn about exactly what the format is, but essentially legends of the game get to go change the fortunes of a local footy team, and it's awesome to be a part of it, Dylan.
I saw Gary Ablett Jr.'s shaved head out there.
Wow.
A lot of aura dripping off him, and I didn't get anywhere near his radius, but it's pretty cool to be in the same room as him. I assumed that he was going to be doing this over Zoom. He wouldn't actually be in the room and he'd go and play his football games, but he is here with us tonight in the venue, and that is really, really cool. I think this, like, as you said, the initiative is really cool of the Carlton Draft. I think most people kind of understand approximately what it is, which is a way for local football clubs, grassroots football clubs, to be able to bring in some of these AFL legends to their football clubs, make a lot of money in doing that, getting those players in. It really helps out those local football clubs. This one is different though. This Carlton Draft tonight is done a little different.
Yeah, essentially we've got players like Gary Ablett Jr., as you said. We've got a couple of Eagles legends, which I haven't spotted yet, but I'm very excited to go look at from a distance. Yes. Not in a weird way. And, you know, we're talking about clubs from towns that have like 170 people, Dylan. So, This is really rural football, and it's so exciting.
I don't know if you caught this one, but the Tamworth teams, there's the Swans and the Kangaroos involved tonight, and they actually literally share the same football ground.
Yeah, right.
So the WA clubs, I think they're a little bit of a distance apart, but actually sharing the same football ground is crazy. That is crazy.
They're both it's the Tamworth Swans and the Tamworth Kangaroos, who ironically play each other this weekend, I think, in the AFL. They do, yeah. You're just bringing that back to the AFL as well. But
so as I said, normally how this... Okay. Mic issues.
We're finding that we've just been informed Dylan's microphone might not be working, so maybe you just heard my responses to all of his comments, but it's a very exciting night. We have 6 local footy clubs. I'm left here to rot here by Dylan. That's fine. We have got the Tamworth Kangaroos and the Tamworth Swans from northwest New South Wales. We got a couple of teams from WA, and we got Denmark Walpole FC and the Royals FC from the Great Southern Footy League in WA. And then we've got a couple of teams from near the Bendigo region. We have Newbridge FNC and Bridgewater FNC from the London Valley Football Network Netball Football League. So very exciting. There is a lot of star talent in the room. Little star strike. We got Gary Ablett Jr. There's Gary Rowan's here. We got Josh Kennedy and Lewis Jetta, who I've said before, I haven't actually eyeballed them yet, but I'm hoping to have a chat to them because lots of really exciting memories with JK and Lewis Jetta. Josh Gibson and Dyson Heppel are the 5th and 6th players, Dylan. Welcome back.
I'm back.
I missed you a little.
I think we're okay. I don't think my microphone is completely not working.
Would you like to speak into mine?
I can. Is that better? Whose is louder?
I feel so much closer to you right now.
Being at a live pub makes this a little bit more difficult, for sure.
Yeah, there's a bit of background audio.
Yes.
We're
trying to talk over that, which is...
the Steve Miller Band playing in the background.
Steve Miller Band, yes, of
course.
Hope
we don't get a copyright strike. I didn't think of that.
Where I was, Jesse, I'm going to go back to the actual event here, which is the Carlton Draft. As I said, usually these players get drafted to local football clubs, but there's a rivalry element to this one. So what will happen? A local football club will get the pick in the Carlton Draft. They'll make their selection, and they actually get a pair of players. And in between that, they nominate a rival team. So as I said, the Tamworth, I think it was the Swans who nominated the Kangaroos as their crosstown rival. They'll be able to select a couple of those players. One of them will come to their team, and the other will go to the rival team. So you might select, for example, Gary Ablett, and you get Gary Rowan go to the opposite team. So you can choose to play against a Gary Ablett Jr. or play with him, or vice versa.
I would never choose the option that's playing against Gary Ablett Jr., to be honest. So
it seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, all of them are great players in their own right, but Gary Ablett Jr. probably goes pick one, you'd think.
I was actually going to ask you about this. So let's have a look at it. You've got, as I said, Gary Ablett Jr. comes as a package deal with Gary Rowan. You've got Josh Kennedy, who comes as a package deal with Lewis Jetta. And you've got Josh Gibson, who comes as a package deal with Dyson Heppel. How would you rank these guys?
Well, Gary Ablett Jr. is one of the greatest players of all time, let alone his generation. I think
Clear.
he goes pick one.
Clear pick one.
What's fascinating is the Kennedy and Lewis Jetta matchup, right?
Yep.
I reckon it depends how good your team is. If your team is
Yes.
rubbish, you don't necessarily go for the Josh Kennedy, who probably has, with all due respect, a better resume than a Lewis Jetta. But if your team doesn't get in the inside 50 still, you're not picking Josh Kennedy. Lewis Jetta, you sit behind the ball, you put him on ball. He might be actually the better option depending on how good your team is.
You are playing chess here, Jesse.
Oh, mate. Not my first rodeo.
I never thought about that. What about the factor, though, of picking the player based on the amount of hype that they can provide? Does that come into your thinking here at all?
I think the game's going to have enough hype. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? In a lot of those cases, the hyped player might actually be the better one. So you're picking Gary Ablett on star power and football ability. That being said, some of these guys are more out of the game than others.
Yes.
So we don't know what kind of condition they're in. I'm sure they're in ripping condition compared to you or I.
Gary Rowan looks good. I saw him out at the bar
Yes, he
just
does.
earlier, and he was always an extremely athletic player. He strikes me as the kind of guy that would get his hands dirty in a local football game and
Yeah.
absolutely dominate.
Yep.
A lot of traits.
Dyson Heppel, also not too far out of the game as well. He'd
True.
be a great addition. Josh Gibson had a fantastic career. Like he's also not a guy you want to play against. He is
No.
a defender, but maybe you chuck him in the guts in this competition. You might have to. He was best and fairest winner, I think, multiple times for the Hawthorn Footy Club.
Yeah.
Former North Melbourne player as well,
Former North
which
Melbourne
is
player.
top of the resume there.
So Josh Gibson, he was I want to say he was a rookie pick. He was outside of the national draft. The rest of these players were all taken in the national draft. I have a question for you. Which of these players went highest in the national draft? Do you know that off the top of your head?
Josh Kennedy. He would have gone pick 4 in 2005.
Yeah, you're right.
Then it was Gary Rowan, who I think was pick 6 in
Oh.
2009.
Yes.
Heppel was pick 8 in 2010.
Yes.
I'm not sure 100% on the pick
I
there.
thought maybe he was pick 9.
It
I
could
didn't
be.
actually write them down because
I'm not
I knew
sure.
that you would see my sheet
Yeah.
and it would ruin the.
Well,
the bit.
I'm actually going off the top of my head here.
Yes.
Lewis Jetta was pick. He slid a little bit to the Swans. I want to say in the teens, like 15, 16, 17. 14. There you go.
He was 14.
And Ablett Jr. was pick 40
Pick
due to the old father-son
40
rules.
in 2001, which is quite staggering. So if you take it from a national draft perspective, Gary Ablett Jr. was actually the last player taken in his real
Wow.
draft at the time.
Wow.
I think we'll see a reversal of that tonight. This could
Yep.
be the first time he gets the opportunity to go with that status as a number 1 pick.
It is cool to see him in here. He's armed with a boffin, several security boffins.
Several security Bothams. He could
Yeah.
be the security Botham.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, he probably. Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah, no, he doesn't actually have security,
He-
but it was kind of cool just to see such a legend so close to me, Dylan.
I know. He would be the player that, like, walking around here, if somehow I ended up in a conversation talking to these players, if I ended up with Josh Gibson or Gary Rowan, I'd probably be okay to be in that conversation. But with Gary Ablett, it would be on another level.
Yeah.
And I would get intimidated.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But is there a favourite memory of Gary Ablett Jr.? To put you on the spot, maybe let's frame it as what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Gary Ablett Jr.?
You know what? And we actually talked about this on one of our streams the other day. I have this
Did we?
memory. Tell me the year, because I don't remember the year off the top of my head. I'm talking West Coast and Geelong down at Cardinia Park. I don't know if it was called Cardinia Park at the time, whether it was called Shell Stadium, whether it was called GMHBA. They were playing West Coast. And this was when West Coast were good, but they were starting to potentially maybe fade a little bit. And the Cats got up, I reckon, 55 points, 9,
Yep.
10 goals in front of the Cats. And Gary Ablett, James Bartell, Stevie Johnson, that crew, who weren't established and they weren't really up in the top echelon of the competition at the time, they came along and blitzed the West Coast Eagles. The West Coast Eagles then got back in the game. But it was end of a West Coast Eagles era, start of a Geelong one.
You are fudging some details there, Dylan.
Okay.
It's great recall. So the Cats got up by 55 points.
You know,
The Eagles came back and won. This is round 10 of 2006. The score was 85-31 at the 14-minute mark.
so you guys won
of
the
third-
premiership that year.
We did, yeah. So, but
Okay.
what was true is Geelong had sort of dipped that year, and it was a bit of a surprise they were 54 points in front in that game.
Yep.
However, it was a sign of things to come. That was not a fluke. We know what the Cats became. So, of all the Gary Ablett memories, it was in a game they lost to West Coast. That was what came to mind.
Well, it was because it was the game where that Geelong team stamped
Yeah.
their authority on the competition. And I
Fair.
know that one's not a clear Gary Ablett one,
Yeah.
but I think he was incredible in that game and he really stood out. And up until that point in his career, he'd sort of just been this a bit of a flaky forward flanker.
Yeah.
And then he kind of had, stamped himself as going into the midfield. He started to get bulk numbers, and that was the beginning of Gary Ablett Jr., as we know.
Absolutely. If I had to think of one memory of all the things he did on the football field, the first thing that came to mind was in the 2013 Brownlow medal when he won. It went round to the last round, and he was visibly hoping that Joel Selwood got 2 votes so he could share the medal with him. I thought that was really sweet. And I think that probably, I don't know Gary Ablett Jr., but I think that kind of typifies his character.
Hey, you do now.
I do, yeah.
You're here with him.
Yeah, I can almost smell him.
So was that your memory?
Yeah, I think that's the first thing that came to mind. Obviously, there's so many great goal of the years contenders that I don't know how many he won, but a few snaps from the boundary that he kicked. Obviously, being a premiership player, losing the grand final in 2020. So many things come to mind.
I know you get a little bit funny when I use this word, but when I think about Gary Ablett Jr. taking those shots from outside 50, the penetration of the man. The penetration.
Yeah, he could generate so much power with his low center of gravity. Very hard to tackle. Could roost him from 55 on any angle. Outstanding player.
What do you think he'd be doing in a local football match now in this Carlton draft? What do you think he can do?
You'd put him in an accountable role at the back pocket.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
That's a great question. I have no idea what kind of shape he's in. I don't think it's going to hold him back too much. I don't know the standard of this competition, but if he's going to a town with 170 people, you think he'll go all right. With all due respect to those footy clubs, I've actually played country footy before in a town with 100 people, and there were some very good footballers in that team.
What is your country football team?
Well, I played for the Nungarran Panthers in the Central Wheat Belt. It's not my local. I would say my local.
Wheat Belt.
Yeah. It was a 4-hour drive every Saturday morning and 4 hours home after a 100-point loss.
That is so WA, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I played on Dom Sheed's brother once. That was pretty cool.
Really? Was he good?
He was. He played state under 18s as well.
Yeah, okay.
I asked him his name and he lied.
Why?
I reckon there was some funny buggers a little bit with playing players that weren't registered, and I reckon they recruited him for one game. I think that's what happened. In any case, it was a great experience. But my local team probably is the South Bunbury Tigers. Who's yours?
My local football team, the team that I played for, was the South Burnie Hawks. I played most of my football in the reserves of that team. I did have fleeting appearances in the senior team, but mostly as a reserves player. But that reserves team, I was a part of 3 premierships with them. They won 10 in a row.
What? 10 premierships?
It's like a local
What kind
football.
of whack-ass competition is this?
Yeah, it was quite weighted. Like there was a couple of really good teams and a big gap between the top teams and the bottom teams. Quite a rural football league.
Yeah,
in the northwest of Tasmania.
You love that though.
Yeah, good times.
We used to play in the Central Wheat Belt, 25 minutes plus time on, which was quite uncommon for amateur footy. So the quarters would go for 34 minutes. So the scores teams would rack up with in the 200s quite regularly because they were so one-sided as well.
I actually can't remember how we did that. I don't know if there was like an actual timekeeper or it was just straight 25 or 30s now that you...
I remember playing a game. Our water boy was about 85 years old, so he just didn't run out water. And in these long quarters in the Central Wheat Belt...
It was a boy.
Yeah, actually, I might have to save the story for another time. I think a host might be organising the crowd in there.
It sounds like we are going to switch to the main stage where we'll have Daisy Thomas and Dylan Buckley. We'll head over there, we'll be watching the show, and we'll be staying with you throughout the night.
Goal.
If you can, we'll get the clubs in their tables. I can feel the nervous energy. Got Riverside here. Good on you, Riverside. Jesus. Rightio, guys, let's go. We're allowed to make some noise. Round of applause for Carlton Draft, ladies and gentlemen. I'm nervous already. I actually know this guy, but 250 games, Collingwood, Carlton, one of the absolute great men on and off the field. Please welcome the Carlton Draft Commissioner, Dale Thomas.
Thank you, Dale. Left off, that's the only person in the world to have done that, but that's completely fine. My co-host and I, and the official recruiter. Obviously, the budget for recruiting in terms of fashion isn't quite there, but that's okay. You've been out, you've scouted across the nation, and you've come up with 6 superstars who will be drafted tonight. But yourself, how many games you play? 41?
41 are the best.
Across both the Blues and the
Why
Giants.
were you laughing then? That wasn't a joke.
But now, literally taking the media world by storm, Dylan Friends of Footy. If it's got friends in it, he'll name a podcast after it. Over 20 million streams, which is a shit ton, a genuine shit ton. Dylan Buckley, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I've got the official part of this evening covered, so for all the rest of it, please head towards Dill. But I do want to welcome one and all tonight to what is going to be a fantastic Carlton Draft. This is a special night for the clubs that have come down, for the boys that have put their hand up to play. It should be awesome. First, want to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people, the traditional owners of the land on which we gather today, pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I'd also like to give a shout out to the original commissioner and the man whose shoes I'm purely just standing for tonight, Jonathan Brown. He is the OG. He's the man that would be here. He's obviously got his own little health battle going on at the minute, so we send our best to JB and he sends his best back. Thank you. To the clubs that are taking part in this year's Carlton Draft, we've got obviously the 6 local footy clubs who I've met most of them, and the rivalry is what it's all about. They hate each other. It's good, so no punching on between the tables tonight, please. To the stars who are over here, your superstars, round of applause. The boys who will be going to put on the show. If you want just a little bit of a background as to how good these players are, we've got 1,534 games, 9 AFL premierships, 13 All-Australians, 9 club best and fairest, a couple of Brownlows, thanks Gaz, and a couple of former captains as well. So this is not just stocking fillers, this is the absolute creme de la creme. So once again, for the boys here, they're going to shine, we know that. The boys are going to be awesome with whatever they do. So we'll get to them at some point, but yes, you're going to just sort of set the scene a little bit, Dill, because there is a bit of nervous energy around.
There is, Daryl. There's a lot of nervous energy, but as we said, there's 6 teams here tonight, which we're really excited about. You might see here there's 2 seats that are missing. The WA boys have been a little bit delayed, but they will be here tonight, so don't worry, as well as their teams as well. But make sure you guys get a drink tonight. Obviously, the bar's up the back. The toilets are here to the your left. And we're just going to have some fun. Obviously, we're going to introduce the teams, which are some amazing footy clubs doing incredible things, not just on the field, but in their communities as well. So a big shout out to you guys for all the amazing work that you do. But Daisy, there's plenty else going on. We've got True Footy here. Round of applause for True Footy. Where are they? They're actually behind me. They're live streaming tonight, so not that you can watch it because you're here, but they are live streaming. The players will go back there with the clubs and have a chat with them, so we're getting the message out there as much as possible. But as we said, we want you to have fun, and we're going to go introduce the clubs now. So let's get into it, Daryl.
Yeah, let's get into the first footy club. So our first club is the Newbridge Football Club. More than just a sporting club, it's the heart of a proud community. Yeah, Newbridge, get around yourselves. Established in 1887. Wowee. Established in 1887, it brings together generations of families from past players to future stars, all united by shared passion for football, netball and local spirit. Newbridge is a small town of around 170 people with the Rec Reserve, pub and general store, the 3 landmarks that are the main attractions of the town. Competing in the Lod like God, I wrote it here for a reason. Loddon Football Netball League, Newbridge is located approximately 35 k's west of Bendigo and is nestled up against the Loddon River. Being situated so close to the river has resulted in 2 major floods in the last 15 years. That's disappointing. In 2011, the club rooms... it is, that wasn't meant to be a joke. The club rooms were completely floored, resulting in a full season playing at an opponent home ground. Then just 11 years after that, in 2022, the rooms were again completely underwater. Luckily this time, the walls remained standing and just the insides were required to be repaired. The day after the water level dropped, 2022, a quick social media post asking for help resulted in almost 200 people arriving to assist with the clean-up efforts. That sums up the community spirit. Game days at the Riversdale Oval are abuzz with excitement from all age groups, starting with the kids running around on the playground, all the way up to the local farmers, ex-players huddling around the bar window catching up on the past week. The rivalry dates back many years. Current members and supporters tell stories of their experiences during the 70s, and there would be countless other stories prior to this time as well. In recent times, ladder position has had no bearing on the result and between the two clubs as everyone rises to the occasion when Newbridge and Bridgewater clash.
Thank you for that short novella, Daisy. That was a long
Wow.
one. Was that did you guys write that yourselves or what? Yeah, bit of help. Great stuff. Well, my team, Daisy, is Bridgewater. Now, these blokes, round of applause for them. They're not into that fancy ChatGPT sort of stuff. They just want to know they are the best blokes in town. They absolutely hate this mob as well. We've got the wood over them, don't we? We hate them. They're shithouse. Yeah, they are.
Do they owe them?
They owe them.
Yeah.
There's a word I want to use, but we hate these blokes, don't we? We do. It's going to be an amazing game. Obviously, a former teammate of ours and a household name, Andrew Collins, former Richmond and Carlton player. Did he?
No, not me.
Maybe in the VFL with me. But anyway,
Yeah.
he was a great player, Bridgewater local, absolute superstar, and an incredible town. There's 300 people there, right? So you just got to rock up and you basically get a game. But amazing footy club, beautiful people, obviously very tight with the footy club and the netball club, and they're my pick for the Carlton Draft. I'm not massive on the other mob.
You're not?
No.
I'm not sure why you got dot points and I got theses, but I'll keep going. The Tamworth Kangas. Where are the Tamworth Kangas boys? 2-1 this year, so they've started all right, but this is a footy club that has a proud history that is the cornerstone of regional sport since the early days in Tamworth and the Australian Football League, originally founded as the Nutsy Bulldogs. There you go. After Graham Nuttall, the club became the Cargill Kangaroos. Good stuff. In 1999 and in 2002 adopted the new name that they have today. Since then, the Kangaroos have been an integral part of the AFL Northwest New South Wales competition, proudly representing Tamworth against rival clubs from Armidale, Gunnedah, Inverell, Moree and Narrabri. Mate, get like, you could have sounded it out for me, all right?
And the other mob up here is the Tamworth Swans, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for them. Beautiful club, the Swans. What can you? Probably wasn't planned to do this, but why is there two teams there? Why did you not get along? Short story, long.
When the league started in 97, there was 4 teams.
Said short story. If you could, yeah. Oh, that's it.
So
Pretty boring story then. Okay, I guess why it wasn't on my sheet.
5 teams in the competition,
Yeah,
so
right.
a genuine rivalry because you play everyone every third week.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you don't like them, you get plenty of chances to show your dislike.
Amazing. We love the Swannies. Congrats to you boys as well for getting the nod. I can't wait to see. Not sure
This-
if you
so this is
potentially
why
get
you
the
should
nod as
drink
well.
from there.
Yeah. I'm going a bit more off script. I don't really just knobs are good. Anyway, good luck to you guys. Very excited. What's the story with Paul Kelly? Did he actually play at the footy club, or is that just a guy with the same name?
Same name.
Okay. Okay, just as good. Right. Paul Kelly, first premiership player for your club. Congratulations. And a big hatred for the Kangaroos as well. You know what's funny?
What?
Swans are playing Kangaroos this weekend.
Not overly funny.
No, it wasn't. No,
More
you're right.
factual.
Yeah, okay. Carry on.
All right. Our next team is the Denmark Walpole Football Club. Was originally formed in 1958. It's fell on hard times and went into recession in 1988 when the town mill was shut down. It reformed in 1988 when Collingwood and West Coast player John Annear moved to the town and strongly believed that every town should have a football team and every town should have a football club. So the Giants they were then named after, they then took back the name of the Magpies after another side left the competition. Despite the club still fights on with the league and premierships won in 1978 and 2010. 2010 a bloody good year, if you know what I mean. If you don't, it's because Daisy won one then. Despite being located in the beautiful Great Southern region of Western Australia, Dill. Have you been down this way?
Oh, I love Western Australia.
We're talking everything, beaches, wineries, you name it, probably big sharks. They've got great surf as well. They pride themselves on being family-friendly, inclusive, and that they welcome newcomers with open arms. So good luck to whoever ends up there tonight.
How good's that? Round of applause for them. My mob's the Royals. Big shout out to the Royals. How are you, lads? They're well, I think. Very, very successful footy club, the Royals are. Not sure how the communication goes on field. They haven't said a word, but they must be pretty good. 12 premierships, so a very successful footy club. Michael Gardner, number 1 pick, used to play with you guys. Do you remember him, Gaz? took the big mark against the Cats. Remember? He does. Fucking hell, guys. All right. Also, fun fact, wasn't on the run sheet, probably for a reason, but Josh Bootsma territory. Do you remember Josh Bootsma? Yeah. He was from Albany as well, so hopefully... Yeah, well, that wasn't where I was going. Really excited for this one. I love Western Australia, and obviously some absolute stars in Lewis Jetta and Josh Kennedy to play for your two teams. So, again, big round of applause for our 6 teams, guys. It's amazing.
So we are going to take just a short break. You can go top up yourself with a Carlton Draft or Carlton Dry. Make sure you do that responsibly, of course. And after that, we will get the 6 boys who will be representing each of your clubs up on stage for a little Q&A and get to know them just a little bit better. But we'll have a spell for 10 minutes. Go and get yourself some refreshments and a round of applause for our 6 clubs.
Well done, guys.
Oh yes, we are back here live from the Palace Hotel in Camberwell for the Carlton Draft. Jesse, that was a long time to get a beer.
It was. Well, I say it was. I wasn't there. You got this round of beers. I really appreciate you for that. I did have a little experience. I got out of the urinal or walked away from and I saw Gary Ablett Jr. drying his hands.
No.
Yeah, I offered to dry him for
I
him.
thought you were going to say drying something else.
I went to dry him for him and he gave me the don't argue. So he still got it. So whichever club drafts him tonight is going to get the full version of Gary Ablett Jr.
I've got to say this, just before we went back on air, Jesse said to me, I said, do you want to go back before they jump on again? And he said, I've got a bit. Just let me cook.
Okay, I did actually see him in there. That part was real. I didn't completely make that up. I think we have had a slight delay in proceedings, Dylan. I suspect the WA boys might be a little bit delayed. I reckon that might be the trigger for that. That's why you're having to watch us again. They're clearly still on WA time, so they're 2 hours behind. So it might be hopefully not too much longer.
You've got to think they've done a lot more travelling than anyone else.
Exactly.
Over the journey.
Yeah, which makes 2018 an incredible achievement.
It does. It really, really does. You can actually talk to us about Josh Kennedy, who was one of the players here up for draft. Obviously, he was a part of that infamous Chris Judd trade where he went to Carlton. At the time, it sort of felt like West Coast were getting a bit of an afterthought player. I know he was pick 4, but he didn't have the status at that time, and losing Chris Judd felt like you guys had lost it. That kind of went down as probably one of the biggest ever trades in AFL history, the Chris Judd, Josh Kennedy, and it's still debated to this day who won that trade.
That's true. I was a little young at the time to really understand the mechanics of trades and whether we got a fair deal. I think probably had cautious optimism about JK. It ended up far exceeding my personal expectations as a 13-year-old. I was pretty ready to give up footy when we lost Chris Judd, to be completely honest with you, but a player that an unbelievable player, incredible achievements across the game, and provider of so many memories. You know the first thing that I think of when I think of JK? The winning goal he kicked against Richmond in 2021, where we came from 5 goals down real late in the game to win. And I reckon that was the last literal moment we had joy as a footy club at the West Coast Eagles.
I was going to say, no.
It actually changed from that game.
Nobody remembers that moment.
Yeah.
Other than you.
Well, it was one of the best games I've been to, and I've logged it, and it really, regardless of what happened after, it was special. But we also turned to shit from that game. It was so weird.
Do you think his leadership from your club was actually one of the reasons that, not to bring this back to West Coast too heavily,
please do,
and the demise of the club, but after Josh Kennedy actually leaves, is probably there would have been a leadership void, clearly, given he was such a presence over that preceding 10 years.
It's true. He was kind of lauded for his leadership capabilities, but he also a laconic figure, right? So one thing that I found funny, on the one hand, always praised for his leadership. On the other hand, I remember an anecdote from some Eagles player who said that, you go to the huddle with the forwards right before the game and JK wouldn't be able to tell you any of the opposition players. So you can be a great leader, but also not follow the game that intently. I think that was funny.
I think he would have been more of one of those leaders that led by example on the field.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but it's it's hard to emulate a play with his talent as well, which, his forward craft was unbelievable. JK or Jack Rewalt? JK's probably right over there, so you should feel some level of pressure.
JK. No, I think, to be honest, I would go JK. I know Rewalt's got the premierships to kind of back up his status in the game, but I don't know. I felt like Jack Rewalt didn't necessarily feel, and this maybe makes him more unique in a way, but he never really felt like that number one forward. He felt like a different type, a more athletic type. Josh Kennedy was just like the man. Like a monster, a bear.
I asked you that because they have very similar resumes, so it wasn't really a loaded question. I was just genuinely curious. I honestly think JK might have been a little bit more gifted, but in terms of the resumes and what they achieved over the course of the game, I'm not sure. Rewalt might have even ended up with more goals. I'm not 100% sure of that. But very similar careers, and I'm biased, so don't listen to me.
Did you win the JK Chris Judd trade?
I think when you win a premiership, it validates everything, right?
It does, yes.
Yeah, I think so. We got 2 premiership players out of it. Obviously, JK, a little bit more decorated than Chris Maston, but he also was a 200-game player as well, so we did pretty well.
What about Lewis Jetta?
So many good memories with this guy.
Yeah.
He hails from Bunbury, which is where I'm from. Bunbury, Western Australia. Or he might be from Bridgetown. They call it Bunno, actually.
Bunno.
Yeah, read a book. Read a book, Dylan.
I haven't been to Western Australia since I was like 15.
Oh, I didn't even know you'd been there at all. We're learning about each other. Yeah, so Jeddah, like there's so many things that come to mind. For a start, he pinged both his calves, I think, in the 2018 grand final. But also, last round of 2017, Dylan, the Eagles had to beat Adelaide by specifically 24 points or something similar to make finals. Adelaide were top of the ladder at the time. He affects a massive rundown. He sort of pushes Charlie Cameron, who's playing for Adelaide at the time. Wasn't paid a push, but, amazing defensive chase, and then kicks a winning goal later. The following week, we played Port Adelaide in their infamous shoey after the goal siren game.
Oh.
He was monstrous in that.
Elimination final?
Yeah. It was a draw, went to extra time, shoot kicks a goal.
So that would have been 2017?
Yes, that's exactly right. Then you look 2018, a year later, qualifying final, Eagles versus Collingwood, kicks the winning goal, hits the Ronaldo celly. Iconic moments. Lewis Jeddah provided a lot of them. He was also the best kick in the game in 2019.
I mean, clearly the one that comes to mind for me as a neutral of, I guess, all of these clubs is
I'm neutral.
2014 grand final, right? The 2012, sorry.
Yep.
I'm thinking 2014, that sort of Hawthorn era, but that run down the wing with Cyril Rioli is really just a special moment in footy folklore.
He also kicked 19 behinds before he kicked his first AFL goal. That was another thing Lewis Jeddah was known for.
No way.
Yeah. Pick 14, 2009, and then made a bright start to his Sydney career. I think he was pretty good from day dot. 19 behinds, and then kicked a check side goal. I still remember that for the Sydney Swans. I kind of forgot he played for Sydney, to be honest.
Do you reckon he would, if you lined up the fastest AFL players of all time, would he'd be in the top half a dozen, surely?
Yeah, it's a good question. Funny you say that. One of my best mates, Dylan Colpale, shout out, played, I think he played at Bridgetown with Lewis, and he challenged him to 100 metres.
And
I actually don't know what the outcome was. I'm going to guess Dylan lost.
Good story.
I'm going to guess Dylan lost because I didn't hear that part of the story.
Yeah.
No, Jeddah was very, very quick, though. I don't know. Jack Petruccelli would give him a run for his money.
Jack Petruccelli.
Jaden Hunt, any number of West Coast players, Dylan.
Yes. I mean, Petruccelli was quick. That was probably his major attribute, right?
Who was the Port Adelaide guy that also played for Richmond? I'm spacing on his name. He was unbelievably quick.
In what era?
Oh, like 2014, 15.
Oh.
I'm forgetting his name, but the chap might be able to help us out with that one.
Obscure?
A little bit, but he was also so fast that everyone knew who he was.
Yeah, okay.
I'm forgetting it. Port Adelaide and Richmond.
As a quick player, you need something like the 100-metre... If you're not a top-level player, you need something like the 100-metre sprint at the grand final to kind of sell you, I feel.
That's true.
I was actually just looking at
Matthew White, sorry. Somebody just came in. Thank you, SMAC89.
White.
Matt White, yeah. He was unbelievably quick.
I'm not sure I've heard of him.
Okay, yeah. The true is false after all. This is my second beer.
Interesting. I wanted to talk to you about the WA football clubs that are involved in the Carlton Draft tonight. So I mentioned Tamworth. We've got the Kangaroos and the Swans who share an oval together, which is, as I said, quite mental. But they actually share it. They're big rivals. They hate each other, and they're on the same field.
I suppose the showdown and the derby is like that, to be fair.
It is, but they don't. I guess they don't spend time there.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. Like, I don't know. How do you work it out? Like,
That's true. Yeah, when do they trade?
Does one team get Tuesday nights and the other team gets Wednesday nights, and
yeah,
it's like that type of thing? And do they like alternate it on the years? Who gets the Tuesday, Thursday, which is the preferred local football training times?
These are all great questions. We need to get them back here.
We do. We probably need to talk to some of these guys. They're out there. We can't get to them though. We're behind the curtain here, Jesse. We have our own little section. There's a beautiful red brick wall on one side. There's some nice tungsten lights.
We were told specifically not to speak to any of the talent. Well, we can't be no.
I'm like, shit. I tried to get an autograph off Gary Ablett before.
Yeah, no go. Let's move through some other players. We've got Dyson Heppel and Josh Gibson are the other players we haven't really discussed yet.
That's true.
Josh Gibson, former North Melbourne legend. Most famous for leaving North Melbourne and going to Hawthorn, but what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
It's funny. It was happening. I went to a game at Marvel Stadium, would have been called Docklands at the time.
Damn, how old is this guy?
I don't even know what year that would have been. I couldn't even tell you the year. It was Hawthorn versus North Melbourne. They absolutely smashed us.
You're going to have to be more specific, Dylan.
But Josh Gibson was playing for North.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
okay, so,
fair enough.
And I remember actually being a bit fed up with him because it was Franklin and Roughhead would have been playing for Hawthorn, and he was going up every time. Like, he was going third man up, smashing the pack and just creating absolute carnage. And all of the North guys would come out like wounded soldiers on the ground, and a Hawthorn player like a Cyril Rioli would just screw it through, kick a goal, and we lost by 10 goals.
Okay. You no idea what year?
2010.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
As a guess.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
I'd have been about somewhere between 18 and 22. Jeez, I'm being really accurate here.
With Gibson, I remember he had 44 on West Coast in round 1 of 2016.
44.
44. Like,
disposals.
for that type of player, that's extremely unusual, isn't it? I remember the game vividly because it was the rematch of the grand final the year before where Hawthorn spanked West Coast.
Yep.
So it was round 1 or 2. Might have been round 2, actually, 2016. And Josh Gibson lays 44 on West Coast. And that is what I remember him for. I hope he can hear me right now. I'm still salty about it.
It's crazy a player like that, how you could be... Like, he was quite maligned at North Melbourne.
Yeah.
He never really was considered that, I guess, like top echelon of player, and it was always like, we need to get somebody else. And then he goes to a super club in Hawthorn, and it shows how much you can be, I guess, like changed by the environment around you. We always talk about it with draftees, but how important that was for him to have other really top level players around him. It just turned him into a superstar.
I totally agree. David Hale's another one. Was he?
Yeah.
He was at North Melbourne.
He was at North Melbourne too. Like
was he
forward
any good
ruck.
at North? I don't remember that.
He was okay. You know what? He was inconsistent.
Yeah.
But he was like strangely for David Hale, not this type of player, but he was strangely like mercurially good. Like I reckon he had games where he kicked 7 or 8 goals as a forward, and then he would pinch hit through the ruck.
Wow.
But he was mostly played as a forward at North Melbourne, and then when he went to Hawthorn, he sort of became this, I guess, like top level. No, don't even. He was always a bits and pieces player.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
But, yeah.
He walked past me at my local Bunnings in WA once. I think he went to Fremantle as some sort of coach, but he's not part of proceedings tonight, so maybe we don't labour on him.
We should, though.
That would be weird, Dylan.
We absolutely should. I'm just getting some instructions from the producer that I'm not speaking into the microphone properly. I was going to ask you about the Western Australian clubs. Obviously, you're from there. You're from Bunbury, Jesse.
Yes.
We've got the Denmark Walpole FC. Do you have any idea who that is?
Yeah, well, I've heard of Denmark and Walpole. I would struggle to point to him on a map. In my defence, only lives a third of my life in WA.
So is that
something like that?
Is that a place? It's not just a football club?
They're two different distinct places. Yeah, the Denmark and Walpole. I know that there was an agricultural college in Denmark.
Say that again, sorry.
There's an agricultural college in Denmark. I remember that much. And Walpole is extremely cold. Those are the only two things I know about those places.
Walpole is extremely cold.
I believe so.
And it's in Western Australia.
At least by WA standards. Yeah, but when you go south, it's like as you get closer to Albany, it gets pretty cold.
Gets a bit Tasmania.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
interesting. So, two distinct areas. There's Denmark, there's Walpole.
Yeah.
They obviously combined.
I believe
probably
so.
two struggling clubs combined to make a club.
They did give us some lore before. I think they folded and came back when a Collingwood and West Coast former player, John Anea, came back and decided that they needed to have a football club. So I'm not sure exactly all the history on there. They did say it before, but I believe they're back.
I can hear Dylan Buckley's voice. We'll hand over.
My window to go to the bathroom is closed.
Thank you so much, Daisy. How enthralling start. I'm really excited. I've had a few. I'm really excited to get to the players.
Yes, and we will get there. The thing that all these clubs, obviously, and yourself have in common is not only their love of football, Dill, but their love for a good time and plenty of good beer. So, of course, tonight is all thanks to Carlton Draft and Carlton Dry. So make sure you do rip in, have yourselves a time. I think responsibly is the word we have to add to the end of that for T's and C's. But it's going to be awesome. Obviously, the Perth boys have made it in. JK Lewis Jetta there as well. So we're getting a rip into the first lot of players who will be representing some of these clubs in some of the most fearsome rivalries.
Rightio, first up we have the WA boys, which we're really excited about. Welcome tonight, guys, by the way. Josh Kenny and Lewis Jetta. Quick one of Lewis Jetta. I absolutely, hands up, love watching this guy play at Sydney and West Coast. Such fun. Sorry guys, 1 sec. They're still smacking up hands over here. 1 sec. Love watching Lewis Jetta play at the Swans and the West Coast Eagles. Absolute superstar player. He was just as smooth as butter, and still remember that grand final moment, getting not chased down, by Cyril Rioli. Did amazing things in the West. I think still one of the best 45 kicks in the AFL. Please, round of applause for Lewis Jetta. And then big Josh Kennedy. Is there any Carlton fans in the house tonight? Yeah.
We've got free counselling at the end of the night.
Who ended up winning that trade, do you think? The Chris Judd West Coast or Josh Kennedy Carlton? West Coast won? I think you're right. One of the absolute amazing key forwards of our game. Absolutely love watching this bloke play. Kicked a lot of goals. Too many to even count. 712 games. Lots of goals. Can't wait to chat to him soon, but Josh Kennedy, round of applause.
So just in Dill's defence tonight, the rundown here is in size 6 font. Dill has some trouble seeing.
Josh Kennedy.
Yes. And if you see me doing this, you'll understand why. Our next couple of players will be going head-to-head for their respective clubs. One of them, he got his childhood dreams realised when he was called out in 2010 to be drafted by the Bombers, an absolute superstar in everything he's done. And most recently, eating some feral stuff in the African jungle. He'll be going head-to-head against a man who, as it says here, and I was told to read this out verbatim, as for his matchday opponent, success couldn't have looked any different. Escaping North Melbourne at the end of 2009, Josh Gibson played a crucial role in the famous Hawthorn three-peat of 2013, 14 and 15. He won the Hawks best and fairest in 2 of those seasons and was named All-Australian in 2015 as well. Daisy, if you could please read this out. Much regards, Josh. Dyson Heppel and Josh Gibson, ladies and gentlemen.
Ah, Daryl. He's one of a kind. He's very good. Absolutely amazing.
You come up in a minute.
Yeah. He's a star 3 times. That's amazing. Very, very good. And then our third match, which we're very excited for, it's the Battle of the Garys. One being described by an absolute weapon, Mick Turner down at Geelong, absolute star of our footy club, and amazing people that have come through the Geelong Falcons days.
The Footy Factory.
The Footy Factory, as the best player he'd seen at under 18 level. Did amazing things. He's one of the only players in the AFL that's kicked the winning goal for 2 teams, being Geelong and the Sydney Swans. Amazing guy, amazing player, Gary Rowan. And then I will have to get the size 6 font out to read this guy's resume because it is absolutely amazing, known as the Little Master. He has played 350 games for the Geelong and the Suns, dual Brownlow medalist, 8-time All-Australian, 6-time best and fairest winner, inaugural Gold Coast captain, and regarded as one of the best players of all time. Please welcome Gary Ablett Jr.
Now is the time, if you could please come up and find your seats. It should be easy because your names are on them. Gents, firstly, a big welcome to you all. Well done for getting here tonight to the West Coast boys, the boys from over that way. How was it getting in here? You hit a few roadblocks?
Yeah, it was all right. Just a little bit delayed, I suppose, in the flight. But yeah, it was more the traffic in Melbourne. I think that was the reason why we were late.
Fair enough to blame that because it is shithouse compared to what you get in the big country town that is Perth. Jets, have you been playing any footy since you have hung them up, and what have you been up to?
To clarify why we were late, he sat in business, so we had to wait for his tickets to hurry up and get sorted while I was in the back of the plane. So That's why we're late. No, I'm just joking. After that, haven't really played a game. I think I did my quad and my hamstring just kicking in the park with my son. So I went the next day to try it out again, and definitely done it. But that was 8 weeks ago, so I'm good to go.
So who up here tonight has played some footy since retiring? So 3 out of 6. Not for cash, Gaz. Dice, you played on the weekend, and as is the modern day, that's 35 and 3 comes up all across social media. So you're still doing it at a decent enough level?
Yeah, still plugging along days. Trying to stay in some sort of order. Has been good fun. Played a couple down in Tassie where a couple of mates played, and one back at a place called MDU, Meenian Dumbalk United in Gippsland, where my old man played all his junior footy. So they had their past players day, rolled around in his old number and had a fun day, mate. It was good.
Did you get the dub?
Got the chockies and had myself a day and a few jars afterwards. It was pretty fun.
There you go. We like that. That is the beauty of what is going to be brought to this year's Carlton Draft. Gibbo, you're doing different things. You're not so much playing football, you're riding horses. Please elaborate to the good folk as to what that is.
It's just the fastest way to blow all your AFL earnings is to own a horse. So, look, I do a bit of camp drafting and cutting, which is it's just glorified Yellowstone on the back of a horse, and it's a bit of fun, something different.
All right. How did you get into this? Was this something that during football you were passionate for, or you stumbled across it post-career?
I did ride as a kid. I actually then someone took me to a camp draft. It was in my last year of footy. They took me there, and there were all these guys just sitting around sinking piss riding horses. I thought, yep, sign me up for this. Did an event, and it was actually in pre-season. Did an event and was really happy, and we were playing the Bombers. And someone from the camp draft wrote a letter to Hawthorn and said, we don't think Josh should be riding horses and endangering himself with the season about to start in 2 weeks' time. So had to shelve it for a bit, but then once I retired, got back into it.
And Junior, what about yourself, mate? We've all followed you throughout your career. Where do you sit now? You've pulled on the boots a couple of times and dominated, but what's your day today?
Yeah, so six years I've been out of the game now. I can't believe how quickly that's gone. But I've played 5 games of footy since I retired. I always said to myself that I wouldn't play another game once I finished at the top level. Good mate of mine, Matty Stokes, talked me into playing a game in Darwin. Really enjoyed that experience, and then played a game down in Cairns, 2 in Victoria, and the body's not moving as well as it used to. But
have you still got it?
What do you reckon, Gaz? I played a game recently, and I didn't move out of the forward line.
Yes.
I snagged a couple, so I've got 3 weeks for a mini pre-season, and we'll see how we go.
Because not to make this all about me, but I once tagged Gary in about the 15-minute mark of the 4th quarter. The MCG members erupted. We were 100 points up against the Gold Coast Suns. I had no idea what the fuck they were cheering about. And it came up, Gary Ablett, 50 disposals. Last time I got a tagging job. The other Gaz, you're still in Clubland. You're doing some work down at the Bombers in the VFL and some development stuff. How is that? How are you going? And obviously still keeping fit enough.
Yes, I'm development coach, kind of helping them out at the Bombers during the week, and I'm the backline coach in the VFL. So enjoying that, running around with them, keeping them semi-fit, which is good. And been playing a couple of games down at Ocean Grove this year as well, so enjoying that.
Now, the Bombers, for everyone who is a Bombers fan in here, what's going on? Hopefully he doesn't...
Very little by the sounds of it.
I got a summation that I don't think came from you that your words were, sir?
We're shit.
Currently not going so well, but the young crop that you're working with, you do have some good young talent down there. Sully Roby is someone who we have caught the eye of.
Yeah, definitely. The last couple of years of draft boys are going really well, and there's a couple of injured boys that will slowly come back into the senior team or into the mix in the next couple of weeks. It'll be exciting. So, they're struggling at the moment, but they're building.
Okay, that's as serious as tonight's going to get.
I'll say that, by mid-year, get going, the boys will get going.
Okay.
I'll guarantee that.
I like your confidence. To the 2 boys down the end, so you guys obviously played a lot of football together, but not only is the Carlton Draft and the beauty of it about what you're doing on the field, could you share some traits about your teammate as to what the good clubs can be looking forward to in the post-match celebrations? Start with you, JK.
Jets will probably rock up and he might go missing for a couple of days and then he'll probably live down there for about a week and then and then I'll ring him 3 weeks later and he'll pop back in Perth. So, but no, it should be good to be able to, I suppose, play against each other and where we end up, I suppose, we kind of know where we're going. But it should be good for the after celebrations, having a beer with everyone, and especially in the local communities, country footy, WA, here in Victoria, everywhere. It's always good to get the two communities together that are playing against each other, having a beer after. So looking forward to that.
Jets, you obviously would have played a lot of local footy growing up. What's something that stands out or memories from just what this sort of stuff and putting your hand up for the Carlton Draft and giving back means?
Well, probably the biggest one is once you leave the system, they expect you to play ruck, so which kind of sucks. Which, as we all know, I'm not that big, so a lot of knees to the chest and head and trying to wrestle the monsters. So that's what I enjoy about the amateurs and the league that we call it over there. It's good fun, but it's also the people behind the actual club do all the work behind closed doors and stuff. So you get to meet them and understand how much work they're putting into their footy clubs.
Where are you going to play? Are you going to request your magnet to be put somewhere? Clearly not the ruck.
I was telling JK 2 Saturdays ago, I thought we had to choose our teams. So I went to 8 games and watched them for no reason.
Not no reason.
So I'm thinking this team's pretty good. That seems all right. And then you got told we're playing down in Albany. I'm like, oh, okay, no worries.
So you've officially watched more football than our head recruiter.
Yeah. Became a recruiter, and then I realised it was just wasting my petrol driving around. I'm happy to play anywhere. Experience on the ruck. Maybe last quarter on the bench. if they got a sub rule again, so I was pretty good at that back in Sydney, I guess.
And Gibbo, so you're heading somewhere up to Tamworth. Now, fixturing in life and timing in life becomes everything. Can you tell us the week lead-in to what you'll be doing before the big game?
Well, as it turns out, there's a big cutting horse show. It's called the Futurity, and it's when horses compete as their 3-year-olds, and it runs in Tamworth at A-League. So I'll be up there competing from the 24th. So when I saw the fixture that I was going to be playing in Tamworth.
So the week lead-in, you're already in Tamworth
I'll be there, prep, riding horses, working on groin strength to prepare myself for the big game the following weekend.
He's rigged it. He'll be there, boys, knowing about that. Tuesday, Thursday training for sure. He'll rock up bareback on his horse.
I'll be there training. I won't be spending any money on fuel because I'll be riding over on my horse. So
now, Heb, you're a good country boy. Leongatha, the Parrots is where you grew up. The Tamworth boys tell me that there's a 2-block walk between the pub one team's allowed in and one team isn't allowed in. Are you potentially going to be the one who bridges the gap? Can you bring both of these towns and sides together?
Don't mind. It's a bit like Anzac Day. I was bouncing between Pies Polos and Don's Polos.
Absolute
so
fucking
I'm happy to
sellout.
bounce in the Swans and the Kangas, mate, and share a few tinnies, that's for sure.
So you think you can officially bridge the gap? Because these boys have told me that this rivalry, although they laugh off-field, when she's on and then potentially post-match, there's a few players banned from each establishment.
Well, if we don't link them together, at least we'll get a good punch on. So there'll be something good to watch.
And the two Garys, is there any chance that we will see one of you have to tag the other?
You won't be tagging me, so.
More politely than you answered it.
Yeah, I'll put my hand up for it, but I'm happy to play anywhere. I can play back, forward, ruck, mid, so probably wherever this bloke's going to be, so we'll be right to go.
Let's not forget, Gaz is, 34? I'm 42 next month, so I'm not moving as well as I used to, and I'm hoping Gaz has slowed down, because if he gets a ball in the wing, I'm not chasing him. So whatever team I'm going to, I'm telling the coach that now. But it should be a lot of fun. I think, this is what it's about. I played for a small country club, through my junior years, Mottawarri. And, I said earlier that I thought once I finished at the top level, that'd be it. But it's been so great just getting out and experiencing, playing for these local clubs and just being part of the community. And, that's obviously what the day's about. So we'll get out there, we'll compete, we'll have fun, and hopefully our team comes away with a win.
Well, it's going to be on because regardless of anything, you are all competitors. That is one thing that never ceases to go away from anyone who's played at the top level. So the draft is only moments away. A round of applause for your 6 legends who will be going head to head for their respective rivalries. I think we're going to take another 10, 15 minutes, however long you need to fill up your refreshments with the beautiful Carlton Draft. Nom, 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 nom. Dill, you lay off it, but go and enjoy yourselves and we'll be back with more in a few moments' time.
I figured it out later.
And we're back, Jesse. We are back from the Palace Hotel, the Carlton Draft. We just had all 6 of the ex-AFL champions sitting down, being interviewed. What did you think?
It was cool. It was really cool.
It was cool.
To be honest. Yeah, I you know me, like the biggest thing that I'm going through right now is the True Footy audience. If you're a True Footy fan, they know that I like to go to the bathroom, so I have to. This is my 3rd pint, and I've been nursing this desire to go to the bathroom the whole time. And then there's a moment where I get up, and then I walk around the corner to the stage, and all 6 players and me on the end are on the stage, and they're all just sort of waiting to get off, and I'm like, one of these is not like the other. I should not be standing here with these greats. And there's a temptation to go up to Lewis Jenner and Josh Kennedy and say, boys, I love you. You don't know who I am, but I think about you all the time. And I can't do that. It feels weird. It's tempting, though.
It shouldn't feel weird, but it does.
Yeah, no, it should feel weird. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy who's in the presence of Eagles' greatness and makes himself look silly.
We have talked about it. I mean, it's a bit of a theme on our stream that you do like to go to the bathroom.
I do. It gets worse after a few pints, Dylan.
Yeah.
And because we're sitting behind, right? So for those unaware, we're sitting behind the stage. So when the show's on, we can't go anywhere. So we are double, triple parking in some cases. And the bathroom is also on the other side of the stage as well. So it's a predicament.
And he likes to go. I mean, he talks about it all the time.
I message him during the week. I say, Dylan, I've just gone again.
You did say earlier in the night that you liked the look of that plant.
That plant is looking very dry, Dylan. And I think I have just what it needs. I think you can buy packs of urea at Bunnings, at your local Bunnings. But I might just bring it straight from the source.
That is excellent, excellent stuff. I did not know, just listening in, in a sense, we can't see what's going on. We have the stream ourselves, but we're not kind of getting that.
Don't say stream, Dylan.
In absolute real time. We are not getting that. I did not know that Gary Rowan was at the Essendon Football Club.
Neither did I. That was news. I was trying to think. I am trying to think. No, it definitely wasn't Gary Rowan. I know of someone else. No, Darcy Heppel's at Collingwood. I got confused. Please continue.
Yes, well...
I know a friend of Darcy Heppel. That's why I got thrown. I did not know Gary Rowan was at Essendon either. Did he say what capacity? I actually missed that.
Some sort of a development coach.
Yeah, cool.
Working with players such as Dyson Sharp, Sullivan Roby, Jacob Farrow. And he said just now, that Essendon, by the midway point of the season, will be back.
Yeah, right. I can't help but feel that he's biased. Interesting. Not sure where you base that on with such a young list, but as a development coach, that's a big job at Essendon.
It's a huge job.
So many kids under the age of 22 probably at that footy club.
Well,
second youngest in the comp.
Caddy, Farrow.
Yeah.
Roby.
Yeah. Roberts. He's in his 3rd year.
Yes. Contagianis.
Your Reece Unwins.
Yeah.
Your Archie Daywicks. Archie May. Still a young player. I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but early 20s.
Yeah.
They're the second youngest team in the league by age and experience. So there's a fair bit on for a development coach at the Essendon Footy Club.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We will be back shortly. We've got Dylan and Daisy. They're coming back soon. What have you thought of the night, Jesse? You've talked about the bathroom a lot.
Yeah, the interior works of that place are incredible. I did share a brief moment with Dyson Heppel. He came back from the urinal and I thought he was going to go to wash his hands. I wasn't sure. I held the door open for him as though he wasn't going to wash his hands, and he went, thanks, mate, and then he did wash his hands. So it was an awkward moment because now I'm thinking, does he think I assumed he wasn't going to wash his hands?
Are we trying too hard?
Yeah, this is who I am, Dylan. I'm an overthinker. I'm an overthinker. This is why I'm not allowed to talk to players, all right?
I saw some players moving past us before, and Jesse and I were kind of letting them through, and it was a lot of like, sorry, oh, sorry.
I promise I meant to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, but it's been a good night. It was nice to meet Dill Buckley for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice gentleman.
There's some names here. Here.
Yeah. It's funny the dichotomy. There's an abrupt mix of AFL legends who, even in an AFL context, would be the stars of the room, and then you've got some real salt of the earth country football people,
There's some
right?
There's some Blunstons out there.
And they don't seem to give a rat's hiney, Dylan. I don't know what we're allowed to say on here. A rat's hiney about necessarily the stardom that's in the room around them. So it's great. It's great. I love to see that mix. And then you've got us who are just on the periphery, the Mark Corrigans of the world.
And we're certainly just happy to be here, aren't
We are, yeah. In our little shell where nobody can find us. But we are joined by the True Footy audience and perhaps other people as well, watching maybe from the local towns of these places. There's probably entire towns.
I would actually love
invested
people in the chat to throw out where they are watching from. I'm sure there's a blend of the usual audience that watches us on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Probably watches the stream back. There's got to be some guys here from Tamworth.
Yeah, and they clicked onto this. I want to see Gary Ablett Jr. and I've just got these nerds. Yeah,
and we are nerds.
Yeah, that's very true. Undeniably true.
I'm getting that Bunnings need to sponsor us.
I actually reached out once.
Okay.
So for those unaware, I worked at Bunnings for 11 years now, but a little bit small. We're a little bit small, not Bunnings.
Turned us down.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Bunnings is a bit small for us.
And then they started working with Dan Does Footy, which is fair. I can't blame them for that, but there is a little bit of a double standard there.
There really is.
Maybe it actually makes perfect sense. That's fair enough. But yeah, it would be great. So what else is new, Dylan?
The Swans and the Kangaroos from Tamworth.
Yeah.
What do you know about what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about Tamworth?
I've never heard of Tamworth before.
Have you
Tamworth? I've never heard of Tamworth. I'm from WA, mate. I don't know anything about the East.
I totally get that you're from WA, and that is a fair point. But Tamworth is the home. There's a country music festival.
Okay.
Look at this. Look at this, Jesse. I'm Googling it as we speak.
I'm more of a Denmark Walpole man. Oh, you don't have internet connection.
I don't have internet connection on my
awkward.
iPad.
Yeah.
That's extremely awkward. Talk to me about Tamworth, the country music festival.
They're the 150th largest export of gold in the country.
Okay.
Yeah. They have two sprightly teams in the Kangaroos and the Swans, who share a very distinct rivalry, it has to be said. No, I've not heard of Tamworth, to be honest.
There is I swear to God.
Before this event, of course.
Here we go. The 2026 Toyota Tamworth Country Music. So there's a sponsor.
Okay.
Toyota. The festival runs from January 16th to 25, featuring 10 days of over 1,800 events and 700 plus artists.
Wow.
Making it, and I love these. I love how Australia does this. Making it the Southern Hemisphere's largest country music festival.
Wow. Interesting.
You know how we do that in Australia? When we want to be the biggest,
we say Southern Hemisphere.
The Southern Hemisphere. Not a lot of countries there.
Yeah. Take that, Laos.
Yes.
Laos, isn't it?
Is that Southern Hemisphere?
It's Laos. It probably isn't.
It's not.
I think it's actually Northern Hemisphere.
I reckon.
Where's the border in terms of Southeast Asia? Like Indonesia's probably Southern Hemisphere.
Definitely. Indonesia would
be. But Thailand is Northern Hemisphere.
Thailand would be Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, so Laos would be Northern Hemisphere as well. This is great content.
In India would be sort of split, I imagine.
I can't picture it.
Hang on.
This is the ultimate filler content.
It's important that we get this right. The boys will be back soon. We will have Dill Buckley, we'll have Daisy, we'll have Gary Ablett Jr. back on stage.
Did we talk about Dyson Heppel and our favourite memories of him?
We're talking about India right now. Shut up.
Sorry, that will come next. That's the next segment.
We will get to Dyson Heppel.
Yeah.
Just park that there for a second.
Okay.
I'm Googling India. How are we here?
Okay, we're looking at where India is on a map.
So,
how far it is to Tamworth.
Vietnam, Thailand, India are all safely in the Northern Hemisphere.
I thought India was, if I had to guess. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So we're fighting it out with, yes, Indonesia.
Yeah.
New Zealand, of course.
Yeah. Antarctica has a crazy drum and bass scene.
Yeah, exactly. And metal scene.
Yeah.
If you like that too. Ecuador, Brazil, Peru, Bolivia, pretty much most of South America.
To be fair, to beat Brazil at something is actually kind of interesting.
Yes.
That's a good point.
But there's certainly not the volume of Western democracies in the Southern Hemisphere.
No, that's true. But what was the category again? Was it music festivals?
Country music festivals.
So you're saying, country. Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know how many country music festivals are in Brisbane. Brazil.
Yeah, that's right. They've really, and obviously the southern part of Africa as well, the DRC, of course.
True, yeah.
South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Angola, and Zambia.
Yeah, okay. Well, transitioning, very smooth segue into Dyson Heppel. What are your memories of him as a player?
Dyson Heppel, I just think he was, when he first came into the AFL, the decision making and the IQ that he had was a step above the competition at that point. I know he probably didn't have the ceiling of other players at that particular point in time, but I always thought he was a very good decision maker, smooth on the ball, and he had that Scott Pendlebury-esque time. He could kind of manipulate time and space really, really well.
Yeah. It's really nice that he can't hear me right now, but all I think of with Dyson Heppel is that Luke Shuey was robbed of the 2011 Rising Star. Although that was...
That's not something that sits in my brain.
Isn't it? I thought that was a talking point amongst most fans. But no, other than that, there is actually footage of a really good post-game address he does when he's captain of the Essendon Footy Club. And it's really inspiring. You can tell he's a really good leader. And it's after a loss. And I reckon if somebody just gave it a Google, they'd be able to watch it. But you could tell the man's made for leadership. And that's probably the thing that typifies Dyson Heppel for me, was that footage. And then ranked second is him robbing the Rising Star Award.
I know it's a bit of a deep, dark conversation when you go down this area, but he was also he ran through that Essendon drug saga situation, which no doubt would have been it was unprecedented, of course, in the AFL, but for a young player to have to deal with that, incredibly difficult.
That's true. So it was 2016. Yeah, he would have been like 23 at the time. Yeah, that's a good point.
That would have, as a leader and as a captain and as a player in the AFL, that would have shaped him so much.
Yeah, true. Yeah, well, he was obviously a quality leader. Absolutely. Have we listed all the players there? I think we have. We did talked
a lot about Josh Gibson.
A lot about West Coast players.
Kennedy.
Gary Rowan?
We haven't talked about Gary Rowan all that much.
No. My first question, Dylan. Do you remember him more as a cat or a swan?
For me, clearly I think the thing that comes to mind first is the 2022 Grand Final.
Okay.
Which he had a pretty quiet performance that day. And that's probably his kind of biggest moment, I suppose, as a player, the fact that he was a part of that 2022 Premiership team. But I actually do think of him way back when he first got drafted, because he was such an excitement machine. He had that pace, and he had that sort of, that ginger hair, and it was kind of that 2010s kind of haircut where you had like that little piece on top and then the fringe kind of slipped to the side.
Yeah,
I remember that vividly. So when I think about him, I think Sydney. Yeah. But as a player, I probably think more recently and what he did at Geelong.
Yeah, well, so that Grand Final was his first Premiership in 4 attempts. That was his 4th Grand Final, I believe.
His 4th Grand Final?
Yeah, he would have played in 2020 with Geelong, and then 2014 and 2016 with the Swans.
Of course.
I believe that's what I read. That being said, he would have been on the list in 12 and 14. Sorry, no, 12. The Premiership. So he wasn't a Premiership player with Sydney in 12, but he played in 14 and 16. So it's nice to get 1 out of 4. It's not a great ratio, but when we're talking about Grand Finals, 1's enough, I would have thought.
I would take it.
Yeah, absolutely. He was picked 6 in 2009, and he went the pick before West Coast picked. So that was the first thing I remember of Gary Rowan.
I certainly remember him coming into the AFL with an enormous amount of fanfare. And he was an excitement machine. If you were to, in a way, if you were to draw up an AFL player, all the attributes that I want him to have, he's incredibly quick. Overall athleticism amazing. He could run for days. His aerial game was elite. Contested ball winning when he needed to. He kind of had everything as a player. He was a little bit like if you built a player in a lab, this is what I would want it to be. But there was always like an unfulfillment there, he felt, throughout his playing days.
I do think a lot of that was body related.
Yeah.
Without being able to remember it game by game. I think body was a factor. I mean, he only played 200 odd games. Which is a very good career. Don't get me wrong, but if you're relatively healthy and you play until you retire, you're probably looking at 250 to 300. And he could have been that player, but I think his body let him down a little bit there.
He had, even at Geelong in the later years, I talked about that 2022 Premiership that he was a part of. He had a pretty quiet game in the Grand Final, but there were games. I think was it the qualifying final against Collingwood,
testing my memory. I do remember him being a big player for Geelong.
I just remember there were moments where the Cats needed something and he had big games.
Absolutely. He was that sort of player for sure that the Cats could rely on. I mean, they had so many players they could rely on, but yeah, I remember Gary Rowan certainly playing his best footy with the Cats, I would have thought.
Yeah.
If you had to separate them, but yeah, fun stuff.
Such a nostalgic night.
It is, yeah, it is nice. Yeah, I do hope I get a little chance to have a brief chat to Lewis Jetta and be like, I'm from Bunbury. And see what the response is.
That'll impress him, I'm sure.
Especially if I use that voice. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a good night so far.
It has. It certainly has. The break is really drawing out, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but it gives us more time with our audience to
have
a look at the chat.
It is just nice to hear your own voice sometimes.
Yes.
How many on the chat right now?
We have 64 in the chat. Hello to everyone tuning in to the Carlton Draft. For those who've just tuned in, we are going through an intermission at the moment. S-Mac says, I was saying boo Unnings. I like that. That's a great Simpsons reference.
Oh, yeah.
And Lance Harper says, Tamworth is the Kalgoorlie of New South Wales, hosting proud players such as Dean Kemp and Dom Sheed.
So when you say that, Tamworth is the Kalgoorlie, what does that mean?
I'm not sure. I know what Kalgoorlie is. It's a country town that's about 7 hours northeast of Perth.
Okay.
I think 7 hours. I could be wrong. And it is very far away. That's my analysis.
Okay.
But it's produced a few AFL players.
I was just looking at Tamworth as a region. Sam Naismith came out of Tamworth.
That's a fun fact.
Tamworth's finest.
Yeah, I like that. Bunbury, Western Australia does have a distinct lack of talent. But when you compare it to somewhere like Northampton, which is where Josh Kennedy's from, very small town, it's produced players like, I think Chris Mainwaring, if I'm not mistaken, Josh Kennedy, Daniel Chick, Patrick Cripps, Jamie Cripps.
Rockhampton?
Northampton.
Northampton,
yeah.
Rockhampton's in Queensland.
Yeah.
I'm getting my geography mixed up.
There was Liam Anthony who played for North Melbourne.
Yes.
Yeah, he's from Northampton. And someone else I'm definitely forgetting. But there's been like Brownlows and Norms and stuff come out of that town.
What's the biggest hotbed in the entire state? Or we might be wrapping up here. We're going back to the main stage.
We might have to leave this on a cliffhanger.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was a riveting conversation.
It was, yes.
We've got to go.
I like the top part about India.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Grab a drink and then a seat. And shut up. That'd be awesome. Thank you. Before we do get into the draft, the all-important draft, and we find out where these 6 superstars are going to end up playing, if you could find a way to see one of the 2 screens, there's one in the middle there and one here, there's a little video to get you in the spirit.
And a beer after the song. For the past 4 years, Carlton has brought big name talent back to local grounds for one game, one day, and one unforgettable moment. Packed club rooms, funds raised, and local communities buzzing again. In 2025, we went bigger. We introduced Carlton Draft and brought in the recruiter. We took the draft beyond Victoria into WA and New South Wales. In 2026, we have a new look for a brand new era. Fresh talent, fueled by rivalries, and the draft landing on pack. Because it's not just about who pulls on the boots, it's about turning up for local footy and for the clubs that hold communities together. This is the Carlton Draft.
Alrighty, so we are going to get proceedings underway. It's the Denmark Football Club, Denmark Walpole Football Club, who officially have the #1 pick in this draft. So you are going to get a minute on the clock to make your decision. The choice has to be made between Lewis Jetta, the most exciting player in the competition for a period, a man who ran away from Silrioli, which is hard to do, or a bloke who kicked more goals. I think you described it as a shit ton.
I wouldn't have said that.
Not an
No, I
official
wouldn't.
metric, but one that we all understand. So the clock is now on Denmark Walpole FC. You need to start putting your heads together and make a decision.
What do we think, boys? Talk me through it here. And give us your roles. I might walk over to you.
58 seconds, Dill.
I'm just a +1.
Oh, well, fuck, what are you doing here? Fucking hell. Seriously, fuck off.
No, I'm the president. TK was the president last year. Yes.
Did he get the sack? What did he do?
No.
Actually, you're on the clock. Who do you want to take?
No.
Well, I've spoken to a few of the Indigenous boys. They wanted Lewis, and all of a sudden they come out of the woodwork to play. But you know, JK's a cultural icon of West Australian football. So I reckon we might go JK.
Oh, there we have it. Congratulations, Joshy Kennedy.
Well done, Joshy.
Taking a pick one, he will go to Denmark Walpole, which means the Royals are going to get the superstar in Lewis Jetta.
That's Royals win. Royals win that one.
Get over the Royals, Dill.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I'll get over the Royals.
If you
Royals
boys
gave
would
me
like to
absolutely-
join your
They
respective
gave me
sides.
nothing before. How are we, boys? Are we happy with that? Because you wanted that anyway, didn't you?
Mate, we were stoked with that. That's what we're going for anyway. So, cheers, Louis. Cheers for coming.
Where do you see him playing in the team? Where are you thinking?
We'll probably start him in the ruck, and then he might swing into the midfield after that.
Yeah, JK said 3 weeks he might stay up there for us. Have we got a house for him, or where can he bounce around?
Yeah. Sammy Keenan, he said that he'll put all the boys up. Anyone that wants to come down.
Fantastic. Well done, Daisy. There you go.
Can you just inquire about some of the help that Denmark have just got here in the recruiting?
Oh,
policy?
yeah, I forgot about that. 3-time premiership player over here, Chris Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause.
A 3-timer on the committee.
What was it? Bring your most successful mate or something like that, was it? Fucking hell. Oh, there we go. You look like a real star. You're very handsome. Jono, how you going, mate? What's the connection to these absolute degenerates?
Well, this degenerate next to me, he's the son of Crackers Keenan, Peter Crackers Keenan, the old Crackers. So I coached Avondale Heights Football Club and worked with Crackers, and he said, you need to get your son, his son, down to the football club, and I got Sammy down, and we've been mates ever since. So,
how good's that? Round of applause for Jono, guys. And
So-
sir, what's this, Mr. Real Estate over here? I want to chat to him for a second. What are we talking, sir? What are we selling at the moment?
Mortgages, not real estate.
There you go.
If you boys
you
could
lost me.
please make your way down. JK to Denmark once again. The number 1 pick and number 2, Lewis Jetta over to the Royals. I feel not the usual sort of jumper presentation we're used to.
Not really.
If you don't use it, you're
I
on the bench. Would you
seriously
like to
think
go
they're
again?
Here we go. We'll do it proper here.
Yeah.
On behalf of the Denmark Football Club, I'd like to give you our under-12 shirt. I can't wear it, but you'd be probably close to. So.
The playing one's going to be a little bit bigger.
I can't guarantee that, but anyway.
Outstanding. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, good. Good on you, Denmark.
We move on, Dill, to the Tamworth Kangas. Now, you guys have the
Kangaroo
next
state.
selection in this draft. You've got a minute on the clock starting now, so put your heads together. We can only clearly afford to fly 2 of you down from each of your respective clubs.
What are we thinking, boys? Firstly, names and roles.
Yeah, righto. Well, my name's RJ. I'm a committee member, vice captain of the Ones, and fuck, you only here once. I won the BNF last year. So,
Have a look at him! Have a look at your boy!
That's what we're talking
There
about.
we go.
And what did you win, mate?
The draft, mate. I wrote the spiel.
Are you the captain?
No, ex-player, nickname Wombat.
Congrats. That's fantastic. We're on the clock. We've
So
got
34 seconds,
yeah,
Dill. So the
34.
2 players that are heading up towards Tamworth, obviously Josh Gibson, as we told before, he's
Yeah.
riding his horse up
He's
there.
got a
staying
horse,
for a week.
yeah.
That horse is going to be bloody tired.
Yeah.
But also Dyson Heppel. So
Dyson Heppel, left footer.
Gorgeous.
Used to have dreadlocks. Who do you reckon?
yeah, well, I think purely because he's got less chance of coming off a horse than the week prior, We're going to pick Dyson Heppel.
There we go.
Good stuff.
So the Kangas, Dyson Heppel to the Kangas, and Josh Gibson heads across there.
Just be careful he doesn't double invoice as well, because he's been wounding local clubs like a bull.
The Swannies there.
The Swannies, boys, you happy with it? Because you wanted that anyway, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you guys like horses?
Yeah, I do. Fast ones.
Fantastic. Where do you see Big Gibbo playing? He's going ruck, centre half back as just that sort of Josh Gibson man, or is he going up forward?
Talk to the coach.
Shut up.
Coachy. Yeah, well, we were glad to take Gibbo because I play full forward, so him not playing on me is unreal. But yeah, blokes just excel across half back in our league, so that's where we'll go.
He's a good man, Gibbo.
And you boys were Can you just explain to the people, as you did to me? I sort of alluded to it before, but about the pub situation and just how serious this rivalry is, because the draft this year, it's all about rivalry, and you two clubs, as part of the town, don't like each other.
I was just about to ask that, Daisy, before you cut me off. But what do you? Yeah. So with those pubs, because I've heard that you guys don't like each other at the pubs. How does that go?
Well, I only go to the Tamworth after our games with them because we have to do presentations. Then I clear out as quick as I can. And I'm probably similar when they come down to our at the Post Office Hotel at Tamworth. We've got about 3 or 4 blokes that are banned from their pub, so we can't spend too much time up there.
So there's actually a bit going on there, boys, is there?
Yeah, 100%, mate. The two clubs don't like each other, and on the field, but off the field, not too bad. So, yep.
Dill, this is where you've got to give him the microphone so we can hear it.
I just thought we better wrap up.
Let me guess, you're just going to do that too.
Shut up, Daisy. All right. Anyway, move on, Daisy. Who cares?
There was a bookshelf thrown across a pub, which was the best insight of all nights. Congratulations, a round of applause, two boys. You can make your way down. This will be massive. Tamworth head-to-head.
Gibbo, just say that again. You've already played for the Kangaroos once.
Yeah, I played with the Kangaroos, a fucking disaster. So, nothing. Good luck to them. We're bringing all the Cowboys down. You watch the fucking punch on afterwards.
Days, is it possible to play for a worse team than Essendon? He's literally going to the Kangaroos. Dyson Heppel, that is. Sorry.
Dylan.
Sorry.
You played for Carlton.
Once a bottom feeder, always a bottom feeder.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, both clubs clearly delighted with their pick. Shaking hands across the table. So then there was 2. We get to the last of the picks for this evening. A couple of Garys. So it is, for the final time, the Newbridge Football Netball Club. You guys are up. You have the final pick to select who you would like in this year's draft. Your minute is on the clock. Put your heads together. And potentially, Dill, do you want to do the insights as to where they've been for the week?
Yeah. Right, there's another Gary here apparently. I'm not sure if that's serious or not, but Gary, is your name Gary? No. Fuck it. Let's pretend it is. Mate, how you going? What do you do for the footy club?
My name's Mark. I'm secretary, and we got Chris Dixon here, who's the treasurer.
Awesome. Before we get into your pick, you guys have had an interesting week. Tell us where you've been the last 3 days.
We survived the Warrnambool Race Carnival. We're just absolute shells of humans of what we were on Tuesday morning. But, we've pushed on. We've had 2 beers today and drove from Warrnambool to here to be here. Yeah, we survived.
Is that a work trip or like?
Oh, if you're self-employed, everything's a work trip.
And boys, we've got 16 seconds to make up your mind. Who are we taking in the Carlton Draft?
We've had a big meeting on the drive across from Warrnambool, and unfortunately, as Gary Rowan would probably know, he's not in the same league as Gary Ablett.
Those are fighting words.
I don't think he'd be terribly upset with that. We're out to make as much cash as we can this year. So we're going to select Gary Ablett Jr. Thanks.
Well done.
Oh,
Good
there you
start.
go. The Newbridge Footy Club has Gary Ablett Jr.,
Well done.
which gives Bridgewater
Well
the
done.
man who will be out for redemption. Those were fighting words. Gary Rowan. The jumper presentation, please, Dill.
They're going to present the jumper up here on stage as well. It's a fucking polo.
Yeah, we had an issue. As I said, we've survived 4 days at Warrnambool, and his only job was to bring down the Newbridge footy jumper, and he's left it in his ute at the Bendigo train station. So we've got a polo. Congratulations.
Can I change clubs?
How good's a polo, though? Love that.
Well, a big round of applause, please, for the clubs and their draftees. Lewis Jenner, Josh Kennedy, Dyson Heppel, Gary Rowan and Gary Ablett
Daisy,
Jr.
we're just going to hear from Bridgewater here as well, one of the most successful clubs known to man.
Jeez, I was getting the wrap-up music too early.
I think they're 0-3, aren't they? Or
Oh!
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. What he said. Boys, are we happy to get Gary Rowan?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we don't need another little forward, so we've got a little goal sneak at Bridgewater at the moment. So, yeah, we're going all right.
Now, let's be honest as well. Like, a couple of those BNFs were handouts. Am I right with Gary Ablett Jr.? Like, do you reckon he really won them, or is this momentum?
No, I'm not.
Like, who else was at Gold Coast? No, you were saying this earlier. I don't agree, but I'm saying you were saying that.
Right, I was.
Gaz, you ready to go, mate? What's his weaknesses, by the way? Surely he's got... I don't know what they would be, but has he got any?
yeah, you'll find out on the weekend, I reckon.
Oh, there we go. Fighting words, Daisy.
Very
Fighting
good.
words.
Well, there we go. That brings the 2026 Carlton Draft to an end. A big shout out to the Palace Hotel who's put us up tonight. Our partner in this event. Thank you all for coming out. The bar is still open till 10 p.m, so make sure you have yourselves a wonderful time. Make sure you get home safe. To Dill Buckley, on behalf of you, myself, and Carlton Draft, thank you very much for attending the 2026 Carlton Draft.
Jesse, we are back. The Carlton Draft has finished.
I believe so. What did you make of the order, Dylan? So to summarise for the viewers,
yes,
Gary Oblett was chosen over Gary Rowan.
Nobody saw that
Controversial.
coming. Yeah.
I thought they might go Gary. They went Gary. JK over Lewis Jetta. Now that comes down to which team has a decent midfield, because I reckon if your team's not getting an inside 50 ball, you're going Lewis Jetta. And we did hear that the opposite team, and Royals, that's who they're called. That's
right.
The Royals wanted to go Lewis Jetta.
Yes.
That was the inside scoop. The Cal Toomey came in with that late in the piece on Twitter. And the Royals were actually always going to go for Lewis Jetta. Now, I reckon,
spot on with that.
I reckon they were, because they were like, if we pick JK, we're not getting the ball inside 50.
There's no service.
Oh, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. And he was the best kick in the game in 2018, 2019. So
Absolutely.
That was exciting.
If we head up to Tamworth in New South Wales.
Just south of India.
Just south of India. We're also going to we're going to do another podcast after this about Sri Lanka and the subcontinent in general, so you can tune into that. In New South Wales, interestingly, the Roos, we've got the Tamworth Roos versus the Tamworth Swans. They went for Dyson Heppel. I didn't think that was the way this was going to go. I thought if you're a local football club, that intercept defender, that big strong man back there is the guy that you want.
They're hard to split, to be honest, I reckon. They're both sort of similar position. You reckon Heppel will play midfield, but a little bit behind the ball, maybe. I don't know. I
feel like from a country football perspective, there's that intercept defender, that general. That's the guy that you want.
That's true. They call him Grievous. Star Wars reference. You could also just park Gibson at full forward as well, I reckon, in this particular clash.
Stick him in the square.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right in the square. This was an emotional night, Dylan. So many dreams realised, Gary Ablett, he's gone he's gone from 2 AFL premierships, couple of Brownlows. Tonight, emotional for him making his true footy debut, and then finally realises his dream by getting drafted as well.
To Newbridge.
That's right. Absolutely. Great selection.
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons of a Gary Ablett Jr.?
I mean,
who does he play like?
That's a good question.
He plays like a young Nick Watson.
He plays like a young Nick Watson. A bit of a heavier body these days. Probably doesn't have that explosive speed of a Nick Watson.
Yeah.
But my God.
That man can dance.
Yeah, that man can dance. Absolutely. And I think it needs to be acknowledged that you got your 6th toilet break in.
Yeah.
In the intermission there.
Yeah, well, we both went that time. That was nice to share that for the first time. Really steady stream both on and off camera tonight. It's been really good fun tonight, and we're here because of you, Dylan, as well. So I want to give a shout out to you and producer Vic for being the brains trust behind this. Really cool experience for True Footy. I've just been sitting back here sinking beers, and I've been in the True Footy chat.
He's having a good time.
I am, yeah. It's been a great fun. So we really enjoyed this experience.
Jesse, can I get your tips for tonight's football game in the AFL?
Yeah.
Fremantle versus Hawthorn?
Yeah, Freo play Hawthorn in about an hour and 20 minutes, I reckon, Dylan. So
I've been so busy with this that I haven't even
20
looked
minutes.
at what's going on.
It's actually 20 minutes.
It's 20 minutes.
Yeah. I'm still on Perth time.
We should get them to set up a little TV for us so we can do a watch-along from the Palace Hotel.
Imagine. That would be sick. Maybe one day, Dylan.
Maybe one day.
I think Fremantle's got it.
I'm Hawks.
I actually think, all said and done, end of the year, Hawthorn might be the better team. But I just think on this particular week, Fremantle's looking a little bit hotter than Freo on the 1 week form line.
We know that Jesse likes to do this.
Yeah,
he
but it's
likes to
stadium.
protect himself against Fremantle. But I
feel very confident, actually.
This is a proper top 4 clash.
Yeah, it is. This could... I'm not actually... You can say this is mayonnaise. This could be the grand final. Sydney and Brisbane, obviously, as good, if not better chances. But at this point of the season, it'll be one of those, or 2 of those 4, I reckon.
Is it fair to already say at this early juncture in the season that it's 2 of the 4 teams that we just spoke about then?
I think so, but there's also Geelong. So as I was saying that, I started to doubt myself. You can't discount Geelong from this race. However, Fremantle Hawthorn is not a crazy prediction. And I reckon we could see a repeat of 2012 into 13. Hawthorn played Sydney in 12.
Yeah.
Hawthorn played Fremantle in 13.
Yes.
We could see that double over the next couple of years.
To be honest, a Hawthorn Fremantle grand final would be so fresh.
It would be fresh. I don't know how I would cope with it.
It'll be good for you.
I'm prepared to give them their flowers. They're a great football team. They could win the flag. But I'm not going to lie, on grand final day, it will be hard to watch them do well. It would be hard.
I would agree with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the True Footy team from the Palace Hotel in Camberwell for the Carlton Draft. An awesome night for us, an awesome night for all. We will see you. When are we back?
We're back Monday, Dylan.
We're back Monday. We will see you on Monday. Thank you so much for being with us. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Go. This is a point. But our hands are busy.